everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm going to be showing you how the patch of Mafia 3 is doing. As you can see now, we can choose the frame rate, cap it at 30, at 60 or unlimited. And I'm using high ambient occlusion, high geometry detail, high shadows, low reflection, high volumetric effects, and anti-aliasing on low. So this is with the GTX 1060 and a simulated i5. So I took an i7 4790 and disabled hyperthreading. So it's as close as possible to an i5. It should be pretty much 4690K for the most part. So I know it's not the same, you don't have to remind me that in the description. As you can see now, I'm lowering some settings since I wasn't hitting 60. Let's see, now we're getting closer to 60, but as you can see, I also overclocked the GTX 1060. I'm over 2 GHz in the core clock. Let's turn off ambient occlusion to see if that helps. Nope, the same, which is weird. It should at least help, I don't know, 5 frames. Now let's try something different. Reflections and volumetric effects are the ones that have the biggest hit, so let's just use all that. Well, now we're getting 60s, but as you can see, the GPU usage is below 90% now, so, and the CPU is at 100%. That surprised me a lot. I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? Well, let's drive a little bit and see what happens. So as you can see, the CPU is still at 100%. So let's drive. The GPU usage will decrease even further. As you can see, we're now at 70%. So I suggest capping the game at 60, so you have less issues with that. Oh yeah, so far, as you can see, we are hitting pretty much 60 FPS. So let's switch the settings now. Let's tweak it better. So ambient occlusion on high, geometry detail on high, shadows on high. I'm sorry, on medium. Volumetric effects on low, reflections on low, because those are the most demanding settings. Unlimited frame rate and resolution 1080p. And as you can see now, we're getting pretty much over 60 FPS, but the GPU usage is still pretty much at 80% at the moment. So you can now see why the developers capped the game at 30 FPS. It uses a lot of CPU, and a lot of people won't be able to hit 60s. When I drive faster, you will get more drops below 60 FPS. I didn't manage to get consistent 60s. As you can see now, it dropped below that. So let's cap it at 60 and see what happens. Yeah, we're still hovering between 50 and 60. They're a big stutter. As you can see, it's a CPU issue. So the game uses a lot of CPU, but that was to be expected. No wonder they capped the game at 30 FPS. But think about it this way. I'm using a GTX 1060, 6 GB, with 220 MHz boost in the core clock, 300 MHz boost in the memory clock. So I should be getting pretty much 60 FPS without those drops below 90% usage in the GPU. As you can see, the GPU usage is low, so it's not a problem with the GPU, it's a problem with the CPU. So yeah, now I'm going to switch to the i7 4790 to see if there's any difference. But as you can see, this is the reason why they capped the game at 30. If they kept unlocked frame rates, since the game was designed to run at 30 FPS, it will have problems to run at 60 constantly. And some people in the Steam forums are already complaining about the performance. But come on guys, let's be honest. We all knew that it was going to run bad for the PC version. If it's capped at 30 FPS, it's usually because the performance is bad, so they just hide it with the 30 FPS cap. And as you can see, that was the case for what it seems. The 1060 shouldn't have a problem maxing this game out and keeping 60 FPS, but we cannot do it with the reflections on high. We don't even hit 60 FPS. So I don't know. I'll fight a little more with the police and then switch directly to the i7 4790. As you can see here, we are below 60 FPS. I mean, I will play like this, I have no problems, but there are people that want even higher frames. I don't know how they will do that. So now I'm using the i7 4790, unlimited frame rate, 1080p, full screen on, no VSync, high ambient occlusion, geometry on high, shadows on high, reflections on low, and volumetric effects on high. I will lower that later. And as you can see now, I'm still overclocked, GTX 1060 overclocked. It's much more stable, but the CPU is over 70% usage, which is surprising actually, since this is an i7 4790. I'm just reminding you this again. I'll test this again with the GTX 750 Ti, 950 and RX 460, and also a video with the GTX 1060 on Monday, since I need to rest from the 5 videos I did in a row. But I just did this to show you, since the 750 Ti and 950 won't be able to hit 60s anytime soon. If you put reflections on high, as you can see, we are getting below 60 FPS, and I'm overclocked. Once again, the GPU is overclocked. So if you don't have overclock, you will probably get 45 FPS or something like that. Okay, so reflections on low. And now we get back over 60 FPS. Just remember that the GTX 1060 is the recommended GPU for this game in the system requirements, as you can remember, so this shouldn't be happening. But anyway, it doesn't matter, the game is now over 30 FPS, but I would like the game to run better. Just that. It's really disappointing. I was expecting more from this game, but the PC port isn't as good as I expected. I mean, look at the CPU I have to use to get 60 FPS. Maybe with an i5 6600K, you should be able to get 60s, since it should be better, since the architecture is newer. But still, I mean, this is a very powerful CPU. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below.